What if I told you the next time the power goes out, it doesn't come back? Not in an hour, not overnight, not next week. What if this blackout isn't just a flicker? It's the start of something bigger. Grid failure, supply collapse, maybe even a cascading disaster nobody's ready for. Sound crazy? Tell that to the millions in Texas who froze in their homes in 2021, or the folks in Puerto Rico who waited 11 months for the lights to come back on. You think you're immune? You think your city's too modern? Your infrastructure too advanced? Guess again. America's power grid is a duct-taped Frankenstein running on outdated parts and blind optimism. And when it fails, not if you better have more than scented candles and a dead phone. So the lights go out. Boom. Darkness. Dead silence. No Wi-Fi. No fridge hum. No traffic lights. No air conditioning. Just that gnawing feeling in your chest that something's wrong and no one's coming to fix it anytime soon. And yet, most people will still make the same 3 idiotic mistakes that turn a temporary inconvenience into a full-blown emergency. I'm talking about the kind of decisions that leave your house in flames, your fridge full of spoiled food, and your family sitting in the dark wondering why you didn't think ahead. You're not going to be one of those people. Not today. This isn't a life hack video. This is a hard slap of reality and a short, aggressive PSA that's please stop the amateur hour on how not to screw up when the power disappears. So grab a flashlight, slap the phone out of your buddy's hand before he drains the last 12% on TikTok, and pay attention. These are the 3 things you should never do after the power goes out. Get one of them wrong and you might not get a second chance. Let's get into it. Mistake number 3, running to social media instead of real emergency channels. Boom, the power's out, and what's the first thing most people do? Pull out their phone and start tweeting about it. Or worse, they film a TikTok about being in the dark while the battery drops from 93% to 28% faster than you can say algorithm. Listen, I get it. We're wired to reach for our devices when something weird happens. It's practically instinct. But when the grid goes down and you're sitting in a lifeless house surrounded by dead electronics, the absolute last thing you should do is waste your remaining battery and mental energy trying to broadcast your blackout survival saga to strangers on the internet. And let's get real. Your 60-second power outage vibes reel isn't going to keep your fridge cold or your family safe. Data from the Department of Homeland Security confirms that communication infrastructure, yes, including cell towers and internet, can and does go down during major outages. And if your phone's your only lifeline, draining it for dopamine hits is an act of pure hubris. Let's not forget how fast cellular networks get overloaded during emergencies. When everyone in your neighborhood is trying to stream news, upload stories, and FaceTime grandma at the same time, bandwidth collapses like a house of cards. Calls don't go through. Texts get delayed. Updates from your power company or emergency services might not even load. Now imagine you used your last 20% battery to live stream your candlelit dinner and can't check the outage map or contact help when it counts. During Hurricane Ida in 2021, over 1 million people lost power in Louisiana. Cell service tanked due to tower outages and traffic congestion. Verizon reported a 40% service degradation in some areas. That's not hypothetical. That's what happens when everyone treats a blackout like a content opportunity instead of a serious event. So here's what you do instead. The moment the power dies, switch your phone to low power mode. Turn off Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Stop background app refresh. Kill every app that isn't critical. And then this part's revolutionary. Put the phone down. Use it only to get updates from trusted emergency sources like your utility provider, the National Weather Service, or local emergency services. Better yet, have a portable battery bank or solar charger in your emergency kit, because when the lights go out, your phone isn't a toy, it's a lifeline. Treat it that way and you'll be a whole lot safer than your neighbor live streaming his descent into flashlight-lit madness. Mistake number 2, using up water like it's a pool day at the Ritz. So the lights went out. You're stumbling around the kitchen with a flashlight under your chin like you're telling ghost stories at summer camp. But guess what else might quietly be on the verge of disappearing? Your water. That's right, if you're on a municipal water supply, you might still have pressure for a little while. If you're on a private well, that sucker's done the minute your electric pump dies. Either way, the most common mistake people make right after lighting their home on fire or tweeting through the apocalypse is treating their water supply like it's endless, flushing every time, taking a quick stress relief shower, running the faucet because they can't stand the quiet. Newsflash, every drop matters, and blowing through your water like it's dollar beer night at a tailgate is one of the dumbest things you can do in a blackout. Let's talk numbers. According to the EPA, the average American uses 82 gallons of water per day. That's per person. Most of it, flushed, rinsed, and poured down the drain without a second thought. But in an extended outage like the one after Superstorm Sandy in 2012 that left 8.5 million people across 21 states without power, many for over a week, that kind of waste turns into a survival liability. Imagine the electric water pumps fail across your city. Now the reservoirs aren't being replenished. Water pressure drops, boil advisories are issued, sanitation becomes a crisis. And there you are soaking in the tub, pretending this is self-care. Meanwhile, your neighbors are lining up for bottled water at a fire station. And don't even get me started on flushing. The average toilet uses 1.6 to 3.5 gallons per flush depending on age and model. So unless you're operating a hazmat site in your bathroom, maybe adopt the old school rule: if it's yellow, let it mellow. One flush an hour in a 4-person household adds up to over 100 gallons a day. And that's not accounting for hand washing, dish rinsing, or brushing your teeth with the tap running. You're basically turning your emergency water reserve into a sad puddle at the bottom of the tank. So what should you do? First, fill your bathtubs immediately after the power goes out, assuming water's still running, for backup storage. This is what emergency managers call the bathtub blitz. Get yourself a water bob or similar tub liner if you want to get fancy. That one move can net you 100 gallons of usable water for flushing, cleaning, and emergency use. Second, shut off unnecessary water use completely. Switch to sponge baths. Use hand sanitizer when you can. Ration your cooking and drinking supply to 1 gallon per person per day, which FEMA says is the absolute minimum. And keep in mind that includes cooking and brushing your teeth, not just drinking. Oh, and if you think, well, I've got bottled water, I'm fine, think again. The average person in a hot climate or stressful situation needs up to 1.5 gallons per day just to stay hydrated. That's per person. A family of 4 will need over 40 gallons just to scrape by for a week. Unless you've got an Olympic-sized bunker stash, that 24-pack of Kirkland bottles won't carry you far. So mistake number 2 is treating water like it's a renewable luxury during a blackout. It's not. Whether you're urban or rural, water is a critical, perishable, and potentially vanishing asset once the grid goes down. Conserve it like your life depends on it, because one day it just might. Mistake number 1, trusting the grid will be back soon and not acting like it's a real emergency. Alright, this is the big one. The mother of all mistakes, the king of denial. Mistake number 1, the thing that causes people to sit there like deer in the headlights while their situation slowly spirals into survival mode, is assuming the power outage is just a quick blip, that the lights will flicker back on any minute now, that the fridge will hum back to life, that the air conditioner will kick back in before you start sweating through your clothes, and because you're convinced it's all temporary, you don't act, you don't prep, you don't fill the tubs, you don't grab your battery banks, you don't even think about checking in on grandma, you just sit there waiting, and waiting, and waiting. Spoiler alert, that's how people get caught with zero plan and zero resources while the situation gets worse by the hour. See, the problem is psychological. Humans are creatures of habit. We've built our entire lives around this assumption that when you flip a switch, the lights come on. But the grid is not your friend. It's a fragile, overburdened, aging mess that's one squirrel, one hacker, or one ice storm away from a region-wide collapse. A 2022 Department of Energy report noted that the U.S. experiences more blackouts than any other developed nation, an average of 3,800 outages annually, affecting over 17 million people, and many of those aren't short. Remember the Northeast blackout of 2003? 50 million people across 8 states and Canada lost power for up to 4 days. Some folks didn't get it back for a week. In Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria, parts of the island went without power for 11 months. That's not a typo, 11 months. And yet the biggest mistake people make across all regions, all income levels, all education backgrounds, is assuming the lights will come back on before dinner. They hear a transformer pop, see the neighbor's porch lights go dark, and go, hey, give it 20 minutes. Meanwhile, they waste the most valuable window of time they'll have, those first few golden minutes, to prepare, to act. Because if you wait until the second hour to get serious, you're already behind. Everyone else is at the store. The gas station lines are full, the ice is gone, the bottled water is sold out, and you're standing there trying to figure out if it's too late to drive somewhere before your car gets stuck behind 30 other geniuses who also assumed the power will be back soon. Here's the thing. Every emergency response agency in the country, from FEMA to your local power company, says the same thing. When the power goes out, prepare immediately as if it's not coming back for 72 hours. That's the minimum, 3 days. Because even minor storms can knock out substations, trigger cascading failures, or bring down tree limbs that take crews days to clear. And in a major disaster, that timeline stretches fast. During the 2021 Texas freeze, Millions were without power for 4 to 5 days in sub-zero temperatures. Hospitals lost heat. People died of hypothermia in their own homes, not because they were careless, but because they waited too long to accept that soon wasn't coming. So what does acting early actually look like? It means checking your emergency kit while it's still light out. Flashlights, batteries, water, canned food, radio, meds, all of it. It means conserving immediately, turning off unnecessary devices, setting up your generator outside safely. It means prepping your home, taping the fridge shut so nobody opens it out of habit, closing windows and blinds to maintain indoor temperature, filling up coolers with ice, tubs with water, and charging every power bank and phone to 100% before the grid dies completely. And above all, it means mentally flipping the switch, realizing that this isn't a minor inconvenience, it's an actual emergency. Because when you treat it that way from the start, you gain control. You're not the guy who ends up in a news clip saying, "We just didn't think it'd last this long." You're the one with the plan, the resources, and the calm head, while everyone else is rushing to Walmart in the dark with a dead phone and a half tank of gas. So don't fall for it. Don't wait. Don't trust the power will be back any second now. It might be 20 minutes, or it might be 20 days. Plan for the worst, and if the best happens, great. You'll be over-prepared, well-lit, hydrated, and smugly sipping your emergency instant coffee while the rest of the block plays flashlight Jenga. That's a win. Mistake number 1 is denial. Don't make it. Flip your mindset the moment the grid goes down and you'll stay 3 steps ahead of the chaos.